Today's A Mediocre Time with Tom and Dan podcast is brought to you by
Gringos Locos.
That was me being like a George. That was me being like a George Washington.
Yeah.
Or an Abraham Lincoln guy.
Yeah. It's the 4th of July.
Yeah. That was me being an older, wigged style politician.
So on this, a lot of people have 4-day weekend, because of 4th of July.
Good time to swing through and get some delicious tacos.
Yep. You got to treat yourself.
Yeah.
And you should treat yourself to
You're
some
going to be sick
Gringos.
of hot dogs.
Yeah.
You're going to be sick of them, and you're going to want something a little spicier.
Exactly. So go get some Double D's, go get some dang quesadillas, go get that mouth hugger burrito. They've got pulled pork. They've got...
Do you want me to tell you something crazy?
Chicken, steak.
I think because I always do the freak out. You know, you've heard Tom talk about I have food freakouts where I go places to order things. I go over to Publix to order lunch, and then I freak out, and then I just have to grab something. Because I like the pork quesadilla so much, I decide I'm going to get other things like Double D's or something like that, but I never do. I don't think I've ever had a burrito from there.
You've never had a mouth burger?
I don't think I ever have.
They're delicious.
I think I've only done, because I freak out, and I go, Double D's, 3 Double D's. Or I'm like, pork quesadilla. Like, I freak out.
You get
because I'm too afraid to get away from something I know is delicious.
Yeah.
But all their stuff's good, and their catering is great. If you have a party coming up, birthday parties is great. Pool party, it's like the perfect thing.
Yeah. Fantasy football draft party.
Oh, yeah. That's real good. But yeah, they do wonderful catering. Gringos Catering, and they're always, big or small, they can do any size party.
Yep, 10% off if you mention Tom and Dan, if you give them a call. If you go to gringoslocos.com, you'll see all their locations. You also see their catering menu and all that information. But there's multiple locations downtown, one by the Milk District. There's Michigan Avenue location.
In the Amway Go Magic.
Yep, UCF location. So they have a lot around town. It's gringoslocos.com.
Live from the Injured on the Go Just Call Mo studio.
It's a blast!
It's Orlando's own Tom and Dan.
Hello. This is your Mediocre Time with Tom and Dan program. We hope that you will find our presentation precise, joke heavy, and just right. Thanks.
Welcome to the Friday free show of A Mediocre Time.
It is the Friday free show on a Wednesday of A Mediocre Time with Tom and Dan. I am Dan.
I'm Tom.
On the couch from the Orlando talk show with his own name attached to the end, it is Ross McCoy.
You guys didn't tell me I'm green screening on this couch in this red shirt. It looks like just my head's floating there on
a little bit.
I should have let me know. I
didn't think about that.
I got other Pyro Spot shirts in my car.
Yeah, we can switch out during a break or something like that. Hey, welcome to the show, everybody.
Yeah, well, speaking of Pyro Spot, we're doing the Friday free show a little bit early because of 4th of July weekend. So that's why we're doing it on a Wednesday.
Yeah, for those of you catching us live, we certainly do appreciate it. We're live right now on Twitch and also on YouTube. And those of you on Twitch and YouTube got a little treat. I don't even want to say what it is.
Well,
got a little treat.
Everybody got ice cream.
Yeah, everybody got an ice cream.
You got a little taste of we're doing a 4th of July special, terrestrial radio only on 4th of July, starting at 7 p.m. on Real Radio 104.1.
Yes.
We can't put it on a podcast because it has copyrighted music.
No.
But it also has the treat that the Twitch and
some
YouTube
treats.
are.
Yeah, you'll like it. You'll like it. Load it up. Load up your family. Grill the hot dogs. Put it on in the background, and boom, shakalaka.
Real Radio 104.1. Which HD station though? Is it 104.1? Is it 104.1?
I don't know. There are 3. Did you know that?
Yeah, I do. I have my new car has HD radio in it.
Yeah.
I have Jack Bradshaw's HD radio at my house, and my car has HD radio, dude.
Yeah, dude, HD radio. Sometimes when the HD, sometimes I'll be driving around in my car, the radio will actually have the little HD radio emblem, and it's lit up, and I'll tap it just to see if there's regular SD radio. And there is.
I remember
There is.
I still worked at Clear Channel when they gave everybody a free HD radio for Christmas, but it was after HD radio failed.
Yes. Yeah. I believe there was no service for
It's
it.
still happening.
They were just
No, I
giving
know,
you-
but it's
they
no one produces any content for it.
You know, they also did that with the XM Sirius satellite. There used to be this XM radio called a Roadie.
Yeah.
And it was a little gray radio, and
you could pop it in your dashboard.
And you could pop it in your dashboard.
Like a little boom box at home. It would go
Correct.
either or, yeah.
Yeah, and man, I am impressed with your radio knowledge.
I've been listening
man. This guy's
for a
got the
while,
goods
yeah.
over here. We're going to talk a lot about radio today. But yeah, they gave us those when they were no longer supported by XM. It was like, here, you can have this, but it's literally obsolete.
Yeah.
It's an obsolete. That also reminds me of the time that Linda Bird rewarded me as employee of the quarter with a gift card that never was loaded with money. It was just a plastic gift card that they just went and bought, or not even buy it. You could just walk out with a plastic gift card. Just hey, here you go. Thanks for your hard work, employee of the quarter. I go to swipe it. They're like, sir, this has never been activated.
You would use that? That's suitable for framing.
It was Tom's
Your
favorite.
employee of the quarter
He
gift card?
laughed. He laughed.
It was the best thing that company ever did.
Let's get the business out of the way, buddy.
Well, we don't really have any business. I mean,
business?
besides
Nothing to
from,
say?
I mean,
You guys
support
want to
or
hear the
sponsor.
funniest thing that has happened to me in like a long time?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, we got no
man.
agenda today, so I'm all good with bouncing around.
This is probably like too big of a build up, but I literally I can't think about it too much or I'll just get like giggly. Me and my kid, we've been staying up late and watching Sopranos. Like I'll be at the fireworks tent all day. We'll watch Sopranos till like 2-3 in the morning. Then I'm back at the tent at like 8.
Sopranos.
So the other night I was getting kind of hungry, but I didn't feel like cooking. So I was like, hey, let's go to Waffle House. And we went to Waffle House for like a late dinner.
Okay.
And
Which
that
one?
is Sand Lake.
Okay.
And that is where we discovered with they have their Waffle House decorations, of course. And one of them, I've been in a Waffle House a million times. I never noticed this before. It may be new. They have pictures of the founders of the Waffle House, and one of the founders of the Waffle House is named Tom Forkner.
Tom Forkner?
His name is Tom Forkner.
I too find that very amusing.
It's hilarious, right?
Do you know anybody know the founder of Chick-fil-A?
Yeah, Truett Cathy.
Truett Cathy.
Okay.
I've never heard of a man named Truett. And I know of the bank named Truist, and fuck them because they mess with me. Truett Cathy. Do you know what the original Chick-fil-A was called?
The Dwarf House.
The Dwarf House. The Dwarf Grill. Dude, we should be married.
It was called the Dwarf House?
Yeah.
I've been to the original one, and it has at the front of the building, it has like a tiny little 2 or 3 foot tall door
Yeah,
that
like
like
a-
kids can go in and out of.
Yeah, like a hobbit. Yeah, you want me to get a photo next time I go to Georgia? Is that what you fucking want? You want me to pitch?
I didn't say
You want me to
anything.
go to the goddamn Dwarf House?
I
Is that what you fucking want? Is that what you want?
I do
You
want
made me give you a blast that fast to the show?
I do want you to walk through the
I'll do it.
Chick-fil-A
I'll do
Dwarf
it.
House.
I'll do it. You know I don't care about any of that.
right.
I went up there and visited the historic Van home. I love going and getting novelty photos of dumb shit.
Tom Forkner.
So,
Old Tom Forkner.
Daniel, you said you got into some sort of YouTube hole
I got
about
really high and I got into a rabbit hole.
CB radio.
Okay,
So,
yeah.
Speaking of radio, we started this whole show off with radio.
Yeah,
and-
we're kind of talking about radio.
And then I got into like researching pirate radio. I'll tell you about that because
Yeah.
I was like, they're still enforcing this, and apparently they are.
Did either of you, I'll just ask some questions. Did either of you grow up with a father who had a CB radio or dabbled it all?
We had a CB radio set, and we at some point purchased an antenna, and my dad promised for probably 15 years to build it for me. Never did.
Okay, that counts. That counts. You were dabbling.
Yeah, we had the thing sat in my room for decades.
Is
Yeah.
that kind of a ham radio? What's the difference between ham and CB?
Well,
I wish I knew we
CB
never got
is
to put together.
Citizen Band Radio. That's what it stands for. And it was originally invented in 1949, I believe, by Al Gross. Is the
Okay.
name of the gentleman. He was a radio technician, and he figured out a way.
That is almost as good of a coincidence as Tom Forkner. So I
Al
know Waffle
Gross,
House.
yeah. He figured out that, and I don't know how he figured this out, but he figured out a way of a wireless communication where on particularly days when there's a lot of sunshine, right, when you have a lot of like solar activity, that it charges the ionosphere to a point where it almost makes it like a mirror.
Okay.
And you can take radio frequencies and shoot them at this ionosphere, this mirror, and bounce them in huge, long directions. It's called skip. That's called skip.
Okay.
Using skip to use the radio.
And so essentially the atmosphere acts like a big mirror that reflects the signal back down. So if you
I think
shoot
that's
it
the
out,
childlike description of using skip in the ionosphere and using like Citizen Band radio or CB radio and ham radio.
Right.
Yeah, that's what happens. So this is what got me. I'll play the video that got me down the rabbit hole because
and this was exciting because like back in the day, if you wanted to like telephone New Zealand, it would cost you $1 billion.
Yeah.
But like you could get them on the radio for free if you do like this.
Sure,
skipping.
like I never knew until yesterday what skip. I'd hear skip. I'd hear mention of that. I knew of CB radios being overpowered because I remember my dad talking about it. I remember riding around my dad. My dad was obsessed with two things on every vehicle he owned. One of them being a CB radio, the other being a Unidyne Spotlight. I don't know.
Like a cop spotlight?
Yeah, like a cop spotlight, a chrome Unidyne. Or Unity, not Unidyne. Unidyne is the telephone company. Unity Spotlight.
Didn't they build the Terminator?
No, that was Teledyne or Deladyne. No, but it was a Unity Spotlight. Sorry, not a Unidyne. Unidyne's the cordless telephone company maker. It was a Unity Spotlight. So every car my dad had, including the Maxima that had a hologram of the speedometer on the windshield, had a Bobo-ass radio in the center console with a fucking whip antenna on the back of it.
Big, long,
every car my dad had
tall antenna.
had a fucking whip antenna on it with a tennis ball on it.
And would he use it to talk to other salespeople?
No.
The truckers.
He just had it.
Okay.
Yeah, so you get like information about the road ahead. Maybe a bridge is out. Maybe there's cops doing or something. Or there's a storm or something. This is before the internet and like cell phone service.
Yeah, so
you'd find out what road conditions were you.
So you could see where I was answering a lot of questions yesterday afternoon. So I'll play the video that kind of started this, and this kind of triggered me a little bit in that, like, for some reason, being around my father and being around CB radios, I was also left in his car a lot while he would go in and be tending to a client. He was an over-the-road salesperson. So I would be in there with the car running, and then I would just play with the CB. But I'd also listen to the CB a lot because it wasn't like you just left the radio on. You know, you'd be lucky if you got the air. You know, I mean, like crack the windows.
Yeah.
But
and there would just be people talking back and forth, and you listen to truckers,
and
talk.
it would mess me up, dude. There's something like, I don't know. It was kind of spooky because you didn't know who these people were, and they would take on almost like a DJ voice, like a radio voice or something like that. You know, like a persona. And they had names. My dad was Half Pint. And I forget what my mom was, but Dad was Half Pint.
Oh, she did it for him while he was driving?
Oh, yeah, she would talk to him. Yeah, it was like a thing, dude. So here, I'm going to play the video.
Would they mind, like, what they said to make it decent?
Yeah,
or would they curse?
for the most part.
Or, like, people, because I mentioned truckers, they're saying the N-word.
I'm glad you're asking this. It's going to play into this video perfectly. So
was there an etiquette or something?
There was etiquette, and occasionally you'd get a guy that would, like, come in, and because they didn't like it when kids would play.
Right.
On the radio. So I would, every once in a while, I'd pick it up and I'd be like, Breaker 19, this is Little Squirt, or something, like whatever my name was. Breaker 19, this is Little Squirt. How about and then I forget, I used to know more codes, but if you would say, like, what's your 20, that's like, what's your location?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
If you'd say, like, Breaker 19 for a radio check, I'd be like, Breaker 19 for a radio check. And then somebody else would be like, let's say Ross is, he's pulling an 18-wheeler down the road. He'd be like, I'd be like, hey, this is Half Pint, Breaker 19 for a radio check. And he'd go, hey there, Half Pint. This is Talk Show host. Sounding good on this end. Come back. And then they're telling you that your signal
came through.
Your signal
Your
made
radio
it to
works.
them. Yeah, you sound good. That sort of thing. And I remember doing a lot of this and being around this. So when I watched this video, dude, it fucking got me. So here, I'm going to play this video. This is from, I believe, 1974. There were a series of CB radio handlers that were, quote, terrorizing a town or an area. Okay? Here we go.
The problem is a group of persons known as Son of CB, or Rot, who fill the airwaves with the vilest sort of language imaginable. And the Southside CBers claim the FCC has failed to act in the matter. Today we heard a tape recording of Rot's brand of radio.
Rot. Your wife's a whore. You'll never talk over the rock.
I remember hearing people like fucking around on the radio would do voices, nothing like that, and they wouldn't say your wife is a whore, like that particular person said.
So this person is essentially a CB radio troll.
Yeah, or a prank caller.
Yeah, that he just gets on some channel and just says ridiculous stuff and won't get off.
And probably like is in that community
Just like fucking with people.
in general because he's disguising his voice. If it was just some kid fucking around, they would just talk. But this guy's like going way out of his way to disguise his voice. So he's some guy that's on CB in that town anyway.
Now listen to the people's reaction. They also interview a child and a mother who were affected by this. You'll like that part the best. Check this out because it just shows how easily little boys and little girls will pick up on things.
The rah and son of CB.
Son of CB and rah.
Well, we've just about had to shut it off and not even turn it on, except when it's necessary, because it has been affecting my son, who's 3, and he's picking up on it too, and I can't tolerate it at home.
Did you want to add something?
Yeah,
Okay.
my name's Darren.
And then he just starts doing rah, rah. Like immediately the kid's like doing the thing. He's like, your mom's a whore.
I like how you can just turn it off.
But no, she's like, we have the CB just on all the time.
It was a different time.
That's our entertainment. Wow.
And I can remember playing with it.
This kid literally has like a potato to play with and the CB to listen to. That's it, you know? And what he said,
I can remember doing like, hey, give me a breaker 19, radio check, and then having other truckers be like, hey there, you need to get the fuck off the line, you little piss ass.
Like, keep the line clear, little kid.
Line clear, you F word for gays, or saying horrible things to me. And it would scare me because there was still like a level of like, I still believe that adults were smart. I still thought my dad was smarter than me. I still thought the government was protecting me. You know what I mean? I had no idea what was happening, and I was like, what the hell is this? And it triggered me, dude. It scared me.
And then you find out that this still goes on, and then you found out why they say Breaker 19 and all that.
Well, Breaker 19 is just because you're on channel 19. So this is where the rabbit hole continued. So I'm like, are people still using these? Are people still using CBs? Which also made me think of our good friend SBK. I was like, maybe we should reach out to SBK and see, like, hey, what's the state of trucking? Are they just like two-way? Are they just text message? Do you have a computer in your truck?
Is it digital now?
I mean, can't you just text to talk and it'll text the depot that you're going to? Like,
or they got like a big trucker Discord or something. They're all on like a nationwide interstate Discord.
And then you don't have to listen
showing
to the
their irritated dicks.
Yeah. So I started digging into it. There's a guy that kept coming up on every video I was looking at, all over TikTok, all over Instagram, all over Google, and his name is Mud Duck, a.k.a. Hard Drive, a.k.a. Window Licker. Okay? And I believe his real name is Mark Sherman. Mark Sherman owns a radio shop, or he owned it somewhere on the West Coast, but he's since been run out of the trailer park he's in, and now he's in New Mexico in the desert. He's overpowered his radio connection so much and uses Skip. Remember, we talked about that. He overpowers his radio and uses Skip, and he has hijacked every Channel 19 on the CB in all 48 states. And he locks them down with bullshit. Here, I'll show you a video.
From which state?
He's in New Mexico now. He's in New Mexico now. Here,
Daniel got into a Reddit hole where he's like, the people.
Oh, they hate him. They have a petition.
Found him. They taking pictures. I'm like,
okay, they found him. They found it. First of all, they found him at this trailer park before he moved to New Mexico. They know he drives a white '96 Jeep Grand Cherokee. They know he lives in a trailer. They know he has a car hauler. They know how big his antenna is. They take photos of it. They flew a drone over his trailer. They're sending all of this to the FCC to try and get him taken down. down because what he does is he will take his overpowered signal, he'll jump on channel 19, which is typically used for truckers to talk about crashes, emergency things, or delays.
Designated.
Rock slides, whatever. It's trucking stuff.
Yeah.
And he'll lock it down with bullshit so it's unusable. And it's sort of, they claim it's sort of a safety hazard. He's doing it sort of to say, hey, I got the best radios, buy my radio.
Well, it's funny also.
He says, I'll tune your radio to be like mine. See how powerful I am?
Okay.
If you want that power, you'll get a fine-tuned radio from old hard drive or old window licker.
I imagine every trucking company has a sophisticated GPS system that has live updates with all traffic reports and everything.
There's probably like a bunch of people in trucking depots right now watching a cockroach run around the floor like laughing at you.
Just laughing you have Google Maps. You got Waze.
I bet there's a guy in a trucking depot without Google Maps right now laughing.
How could that be?
They bought a book map in 1985 and they're still not recouped on it yet.
This guy explains it pretty well. Let's see if I can put this up for you guys to see. Because there's so many videos about this guy. Dude, it's like almost incredible how many.
In the world that you're looking for. In the desert, cleaner and meaner will never be a substitute.
And so what is he broadcasting? Just nonsense?
Commercials for his own radio service.
The CB radio signals in all 48 states of the United States and parts of Mexico and parts of Canada. And today, we truckers are single-handedly going to stop him.
Yeah, so they have petitions for this guy. They're trying to shut him down. What he does is and then there's some people say he does this, some people say he doesn't. But basically what I think he's actually doing is he has recordings of himself talking, and this is, in the trucking world, this is known as ghost talking. I've read so much about this.
When you're not live on the mic, you're just broadcasting a recording.
Correct.
Okay.
And he'll just record himself talking into his radio, then he'll just replay it. Basically using his powerful signal to lock down Channel 19 for his own ego because, like Tom said, he's an OG troll. He is like original Southern trucker troll.
You know where he got this idea? Dale Gribble did this in King of the Hill.
No, with the
absolutely. Yeah.
I knew you would have good information on this.
Well, apparently this has been going on, like even that 70s clip, it's like ever since radio, there's some people that get on there and troll it and take over signal.
Well, that's typically what Squelch is for. Like, people don't understand. So Squelch is, you're going to have different powers of different CB radios. And again, I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just giving you what I read. But you can use the Squelch to kind of turn down the noise. It knocks down everything that might be a little overpowering just because of static and interference, but it gives you a cleaner signal for the things you need to hear.
My friend said Squelch is his pee.
This guy's just way too powerful, and that's the problem. But this guy has so many people that want to kill him, hurt him, murder him, and apparently the other thing that he's done that's terrible is he has scammed people. He'll say, hey, I'll make you a radio that's as powerful as mine.
That was my next question.
And they'll send their radio to him, and he'll never send the radios back.
Okay.
And he just scams people, and he just hides out in the desert.
Because if he was tuning these radios up to be like his, there would be more than one him out there, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But then there is another theory that he has other people working for him because they like and there are other people that like this. They just like to see the world burn. And they're like, yeah, I want to help this troll. And they'll take recordings of him and play it on their CBs to help the kind of myth.
In their area?
Yeah, because that makes the mythology of this guy, this hard drive window licker mud duck trucker guy. He stays king of the trucker trolls.
So Daniel put up a post on the Facebook page, on BDM Facebook page, about CB radios.
Yeah.
And then our buddy Tony Palmiotti.
Did you call him?
Oh, I'll call him right now.
Yeah.
Said I used to do
Actually,
this.
you could probably get on Ship to Shore Radio.
And I think he used to mess around with ham radios,
That's
which
a little
is
bit different, but
a cousin of CB radios. And I looked up at like ham radios and pirate radios.
No, Tony just did CB radio while he was eating ham.
I feel like ham radio, without even knowing what it means.
There's someone calling in line too. They keep calling. There's probably maybe someone that knows about this.
Hello, thanks for calling Tom and Dan. Who's this?
Hey, this is Josh. What's up?
Hey, what's going on, man? Are you calling to talk about CB radios or just to call in general?
Just to call in general. I saw you guys were live on YouTube, so I figured I'd call in. I'm a first-time caller, long-time listener.
Ah, right on, man. Well, we certainly appreciate that. And that's a phrase I never thought I'd hear again because talk radio is dead. But, hey, thanks for calling, man. What's on your mind?
Not much, man. I'm just at work right now. It's on my lunch break. Is Ross there today?
He is
Sure
indeed,
am, sir. Yeah, I was. We were having a real good flow until you called in with nothing.
Oh, this is like we're at the old school radio.
Yeah, back to you, Rob.
We're like, caller, let's hear what you have to say. I'm just on lunch break listening to you. I had nothing.
I'm just sitting here using my CB radio, eating ham.
I don't know why I called in. Just to bother you, I guess.
And now you guys are going to make fun of me, and you're going to lose a listener. That's the way it works.
What's that, sir? I mean, I enjoy the fact that you wanted to participate. I
Leave
told
him alone. He's a first.
The fact that you're engaged, but I'm just curious of why.
Don't be a mud dog.
What was your intention of calling in? Was it just to tell us you're on your lunch break?
Yeah.
So.
Well, goddamn!
No, that's the right answer. He hit us with honesty.
Yeah, well,
listen, I've been listening to a lot of Kill Tony, and he brings he draws stories out of seemingly useless people. So maybe let's give Josh a try. Josh, is there anything interesting about you? Are you good at anything that nobody else is good at? Do you have some sort of skill? Do you have a famous relative?
Are you familiar with CB radios and could quite possibly give us a nugget of factoid to stay on topic?
Not at all.
Oh man, we gave you every chance.
What do you do? What do you do for a living? What's your on break from?
I guess that's the interesting thing about me. I probably have the most diverse resume.
Well, why didn't you say that to begin with? We said, is there anything interesting about you?
Or give us a couple examples.
Yeah. Give me number 4 and number 8.
Okay. So currently, I work part-time. I'm sure I can say it. It's not a big deal, but I work part-time for Valencia College, for the Fire Safety College.
All right.
Okay.
I'm not interested at all. All
right.
You work part-time for a community college.
Did you expect me when you said that? Do you expect me to lead it and go I'm listening?
It's almost the punchline to the most uninteresting job anybody's ever had, which is part-time at a community college. All right, so next one.
Can we go back to me going into the little Hobbit door at the Chick-fil-A, please?
Maybe you started with the least interesting job you've ever had. All right, next one.
I think you got him reversed.
Okay, yeah, correct. Okay, so the job before this, I worked for a gun holster company as quality control.
Oh, good. All right. Still holds a gun. Next. Still holds a gun. Next.
Which one? There's a real famous one out of Florida. Were you that one?
Vetter.
No, that's not the one I was thinking of. Okay.
Was it a gun holster? I mean, is it a leather outside, or is it the one that you tuck in your butt?
I like a nylon one. If you're rocking a leather one, you're 70 years old.
It's all kinds. Yeah, outside leather, tuck in, it's everything.
And then what boring ass job did you do for them, sir?
I took the guns off the wall and put them into the holster.
That's fucking awesome. That's the best job. Out of all the jobs at the holster shop,
was there ever?
That's the best one.
Was there ever one that you're like, this one doesn't fit? Or did they all fit?
Who was hanging them on the fucking wall? Why didn't that guy just put them in the holsters?
No, we had a whole wall of guns, like 200. And you would get the holster.
Technically, don't you just need one? You just put it in 200 times?
He may have lived in the Matrix.
All right. So, I mean, that's a little more interesting than part-time at community college, but you're just putting guns in holsters. And
Did you guys make holsters the kind that you have to tie them below your leg? The one you got to tie around your leg?
No, we didn't have those.
Do people still rock those at all?
That's old West
I
John
feel like
Wayne.
I would. I feel like I would still rock one.
All right,
because I always liked the idea of tying it down so you could run after somebody.
What a dumb fucking job, though! guns, and you're just
stop. I'll get it.
You're just putting them away.
Sir, thank you for calling. We appreciate you. We got to call. We got to call an old man now.
It's like you work for Ferrari, but you're just putting on the seat covers.
Was that
or something.
Okay that I said that? Tom gets mad when I'm a little too literal. Sometimes I'm a little too literal. And he's like, "Don't say that."
Okay.
All right, we're going to call Tony now and talk about ham radio. It's funny because I knew this would eventually roll around one day and we talk about ham radio with Tony. I knew we would.
I'm ruined until I
He's
figured.
Been waiting.
I'm with Tom. To what end, Josh? What did you have in mind? What did he have in mind when he called?
What? Yeah,
it was you decided to call what, and then when you fantasize it, what happens?
I don't think it worked.
That's our own.
Yeah, I don't think it worked.
I hit enter.
Enter? There's no enter. Is there enter?
God damn it!
I remember sitting at home listening to the radio and like having a take and being terrified to call in. That's
what
me.
some people were saying in the chat room, is that like that guy was very he had fat nuts to call in and do that. You know, most people won't do that.
What do you think? He called in multiple times, so even though we didn't answer, kept calling. And he's like, I have to tell these guys nothing.
Well, I mean, maybe he wanted to see if we were actually on. I can see how the curiosity could get you there, and then once you're on the line, you're like, fuck.
If you like jump off a 3-story building, do you have fat nuts, or are you just a dipshit?
Right. He's on line 1.
Tony, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can.
Awesome. Hey, man, good to talk to you. So tell us, how did you eventually get into ham radio? And you said you also had a CB radio that was pretty big?
Oh, yeah. So that was the 70s when it was extremely popular. Ham radio was just a thing. I was always a nerd, so always looking for that thing to do that not many other people did. And I don't know where, probably a magazine or something. We lived near an old Lafayette Electronics that had been gone for years and years, and I used to walk by and see all the radios in the window and that kind of thing.
So Tony, I was researching this and like researching pirate radio and like whether or not it's still around and stuff. And it's big in like big cities, which makes sense because the population densities
Yo,
so
son,
much.
you're listening to Tom and Dan Radio, the Cypher Underground.
That you can reach a lot of people, but
and also it's easier to hide.
Yeah.
So let me say this, because I know we want to talk about ham radio, but I had a...
Let's talk porno instead. I want to talk fucking big Japanese titties.
I had a multiplex stereo bootleg radio station in Brooklyn.
Oh, you had your own radio station?
Oh, yeah. I covered the tri-state area.
What? Tri-State Tony.
What was your DJ name?
WCHX.
So this is, it was the station letters with WNCL, which means with no call letters.
Oh, I thought you meant Norwegian Cruise Line.
No, with no call letters. Brooklyn College used to have a station. They went off the air about 6 p.m. We waited about an hour, and then we clicked on the transmitters, and we used to broadcast all over the place.
Did you ever get in any trouble for it, or ever think you were going to get
yeah, we got caught. Oh, yeah. It's so we had...
Yeah, caught. I shot a fucking cop. I blew his fucking head off. Tony, oh my god! They were chasing me. Deb shooting at the fucking windows and blew his fucking right in the chest.
Yeah, so it's a 1,000-watt station. We had a couple of turntables, couple of reel-to-reels, a little mixer, a couple of microphones.
Doesn't that sound fun, dude? Let's move to the mountains and do old school radio.
That's not fun at all.
Let's do old school mountain radio.
I didn't even like doing it when I got paid. So, Tony, what was your DJ name? Did you have like...
I didn't really have a DJ.
Yes, you did. It was just stupid. Tell us.
No, you did. DJ Horny in the mix.
Yeah, but we used to do the show.
DJ Cunning Linguist.
It was the 70s. It was probably like DJ Coke Spoon or something.
We used to tape them, and then my friend was
really
old
bad.
enough to drive. We used to drive around the Queens and the Bronx and listen to our own show.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
when I first got on Real Radio, I did that too. When I first got on Real Radio, I did that too.
So, Tony, let me...
Did you get awkward jacking off in your car?
So, Tony, let me ask you this, because I searched ham radio on TikTok, and I started looking.
And it made fun of you.
I started looking at like, are people still doing ham radio? And they are.
Yeah.
And then I started watching what people are doing, and
but now it's plant-based radio.
And
weird.
And what it looked like to me is they'd set up this ham radio and their antenna, whatever. They get all the equipment. Like there's a lot of obviously like nerd engineering.
I always wanted
going
the
on.
Tower.
Yeah, they'd set up a tower. Or now
that's what we had that my dad never set up, was like a nice 20-foot aluminum like tri-tower.
Like I was actually thinking, can I do this off of my balcony? And before you say that's bullshit, no, I'm dead serious.
Yeah, dude, you could probably clip something to your your rail and
your
go
gutters. Like people click it to your rain gutters, and then it acts like an antenna
I'm gonna
or
do
whatever. So anyway, but
Danny.
all this work, and then someone's like Alpha Breaker 1, they don't have their call letters or whatever, and then they wait, and then someone responds, and then they're like, oh, and they write down their response, and then that's it.
Well, it's like
And then
electric.
I'm like, they don't even have a conversation.
Well, it's electric pen pal. You got to think about it. It's exciting because you were able to take, effectively energy, shoot it to the sky, and shoot it to New Zealand, and somebody else got it.
It's like fishing.
Tony can correct me if I'm wrong, but the fun part was like you say you reach a guy in New Zealand, you log it in your logbook, and then you figure out how far that was. You figure out how
And then
far you managed to communicate.
So we all had, back then we all had postcards printed that had our call letters. Mine was Whiskey Alpha 2 Queen November Thomas, WA2QNT.
Still rolls off his
And it was
tongue.
basically-
Cunning linguist.
It would have like
Queen Nova
name.
What the hell?
This is Queen Nobaton, Nulu Boo Baba Baby.
Yeah.
This is
It would have
Kashi
your
Katani
name, and it would
Flakabaki.
have Brooklyn, New York, and you would mail these to all over the world as you talk to people. So I had a whole wall full of cards from like all different countries. It was kind of cool.
I definitely think that's cool, dude.
So-
I like this.
So, because I was really legitimately trying to figure out what the motivation for the ham radio people were. So
energy exchange.
So there's like a phishing element where you just throw it out there, and then someone responds back, and you caught someone randomly, and then they tell you the call letter, and then you write it down. It's kind of like bird watching. Like, hey, this guy in New Zealand hit me back, and then you just keep trying to fish.
Then you might make some friends.
It is literally turning the dial very slow and listening for people calling out, or you calling out and just waiting for them to pick you up. So it's really it's kind of interesting. Really.
Did you ever hear anything you shouldn't have heard, or did what's?
No, I don't think anything interesting happened.
Okay. All right.
So you had to be licensed to be a ham radio operator. So, and I mean that's what CB was for, really. That was the Wild West. But ham radio a little more refined, I would say.
I agree. It always appeared that the ham radio. The CB radio guys were like dirty. And the ham radio guys were more like nerds that had it at home that I did it as a hobby and I reached New Zealand.
Yeah.
And then the trucker guys were like, I'm looking for whores. Get the fuck out. I'm hauling shit.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, that's what it always felt like. And then my dad.
I mean, that was our social media. That was our way of extending out and trying to find people to talk to and hang out. And
you would have been probably, if we're comparing it to social media, then Tony, then you would have been pretty important because you had a club or a group of people within Brooklyn that knew of your station, so you would have had clout, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So we in the CB world, we used to have what they call coffee breaks, which were basically just meetups at different places, a pizza place, whatever. People from around, Brooklyn, Queens area, just getting together. Sometimes they swap out equipment. Or
that's what we do at Hourglass. We got a goddamn ham radio station.
We're still doing the same shit.
Yeah, we're doing the ham radio. This is fucking ham radio right now.
Yeah, you put it out there. Whoever's listening, they're like, hey, let's.
And then they have code names. Keyed Up BDM. He's the locksmith. He comes by.
Oh, Norm is here.
Yeah, Norm. It's not his real name. Why? It's his fake name. It's his call letters.
That's right. That's right.
That's good. Do you have any of your gear anymore, Tony? And could you point me?
I have my, what I have, I have it in a box. I don't have it out. I have my D104 mic. It's one of those. Do you ever see those chrome ones with the lollipop type looking microphones?
Yeah, comedy flyer microphones, even though they're never at comedy shows.
Yeah, I use the lollipop mics for the children.
Well, Tony, could you, because me and Daniel thought about setting up a pirate radio station here and then broadcasting out to Orlando.
And Bahamas. We want to do Orlando, the Keys, and the Bahamas.
No, that would be bad. That would be bad. So our pirate radio station was 92.3 FM.
The party.
And like I said, it was a stereo station. We used a machine that tested multiplex stereo made by Kenwood for car stereos, and we used that to separate our signal. I mean, it was very complex system for the time.
That's really smart, Tony.
But the FCC caught us.
And they didn't do nothing to you, did they?
They used to have these trucks with antennas on them that used to hone in on people doing things like
That's
this.
the
and they
KGB.
physically caught us.
No, apparently I searched. Are pirate radio stations, or the FCC still enforcing or some sort of penalties on pirate radio?
They just got a guy in 2022.
And apparently in Miami, it's a huge thing, and big cities as well. But Miami, they just busted like 5 pirate radio people and levied like $2 million in fines. But apparently, like in the Haitian and like Little Havana community,
Third world is kind of it's brought its way over to maybe socioeconomically more impoverished areas.
Yeah,
you'll find higher concentrations of that because it's another way to communicate.
And this guy was just for the Haitian community doing a pirate radio station. He had commercials and everything like that, and then they fined him. Now, here's what I found out, which is interesting. The FCC has no way to enforce the fines that they levy on people, and they have the same power as a credit card company, which they'll fine you, and then they'll have to sue you in court like a credit card company.
Nobody at Real Radio ever told me that when I got my LOI, when I got in trouble.
Well, that's because they leave it up to like the giant corporation, you know. But if you get, like, they fine you, let's say $80,000, you could just say "fuck you," I'm never paying, and then they have to go through the court process and get a judgment against you, just like American Express, for them to ever get paid.
What are they going to do? Put a lien on my voice?
I don't know.
And so apparently, they do
Nick
all
Cannon
this.
just
and there's
insured
nothing
his balls today.
Yeah, I mean, when the FCC busted us, it was at my friend's parents' house. We were in the attic with the whole system set up. They didn't even take the equipment away. They just went to my friend's parents and said, "Hey, you guys got to stop this. You better get them under control," and all that kind of stuff.
Well, we listened to our parents back then. Yeah, you listened to your parents back then.
Yeah, but that's all they would do. But even and it's funny, like, because now it's even more absurd. Like, to me, I was like, if we operated a pirate radio station out here, how long, even if we talked about it, openly joked about it, how long before anybody comes and stops us?
I don't know.
Like, I feel like a long time.
Well, here's what.
Right?
But here's
someone's going to come and knock at our door.
No, here's I think the answer to that is, what frequency would we be running, and what would we be stepping on?
Are you interfering with
If
anybody?
we're not stepping on anything,
Nobody's
the
gonna
answer
complain.
is we can do it until the end of time.
Yeah.
If we're stepping on, I'm trying to think of something that
Some
would happen.
business. Yeah.
Let's say this construction site over here building this parking garage, let's say they're using two-way communicators for all of their construction.
It interferes. And talk about that,
That's
Tony.
how they shut us down.
Where when you do this, it does interfere with TVs, any sort of...
No doubt. You know, the FM stuff not as bad because it's... FM is a very narrow frequency, so you got to really be right on that number to interfere with anything. But like CB radio is 27 megahertz, and it's low bandwidth, so it has a very wide like interference range, you know, on either side of it. So any TVs, anything around, is just destroying if you have any kind of power. So.
And you said even toasters would pick up the signal and stuff.
So the legal output on a CB radio is about 4.5 watts. I had a combination kilowatt desk. It was 1,000 watt transmitter from my CB signal, and it would literally, you would hear me if I talked and you went across the street to my neighbor's house, you would hear it vibrate through the toaster elements. I mean, that's how strong the signal was.
That's pretty badass, dude.
If you went outside my house and held a fluorescent light bulb, it would light up.
I like that, man.
If I'm making a Pop-Tart and Tony starts talking about my toaster oven, I'm fucking burning the house down. I'm burning the fucking house down.
Tony standing there.
If you stood on my roof and stayed there for 5 minutes, you would go, who's cooking chicken?
Hold on.
He's down there masturbating.
Why would you say?
If you stood in my closet at 12 a.m. in the middle of the night, you'd say to yourself, "Who's vampires eating the hot dog?" I swear to you.
He had a CB radio and a big rotisserie. That's all.
Tony, we love you, dude. Man, that is so cool. Was Deb with you when you were already?
No, this is before Deb.
Okay.
Yeah, this is,
the BD.
Yeah, I got my ham radio license at 14. So.
But she heard about you, right? You were a big talk around Brooklyn.
Heard about you, Brooklyn vampire.
Well, they called me Scorpio because my handle name
Scorpio.
was my handle name was Serpico, and somebody mispronounced it, and they start calling me Scorpio. So I just left it, and it caught on. But, I mean, I would talk they had a thing called moon bounce. I don't know if you ever heard of that. If you have an incredible amount of power, you can actually transmit to the moon and bounce your signal off of it and receive your own signal back.
Yeah, hold on.
That's badass. See, this is why I got
Scorpio. I'm going to bounce my signal off the moon.
No, I'm dead.
If there are any hot bitches out there listening, Scorpio's about to moon bounce this motherfucker, so if you want to get wet, stay tuned.
So, like, even CB radio, on certain, if the atmosphere is right and everything, they have a thing called skip wave.
This is what we were talking about, Tony.
I like the fact, Tony, that you knew we were going to call you. Wasn't listening to the show.
That makes it better. That's how you know it's authentic.
I know,
that's how you know it's real. Tony, I don't know if the listeners know this. Tony hasn't listened to one episode of our show, and I like that.
He's helped us for 20 years.
I like it. He doesn't need to listen to it. That's how good he is.
Tony, how's the cruise going? I know. Have you got all those fun fees collected?
I think we're good.
You're mostly done with that
We got
question,
a
right?
really nice crowd. I'm very happy with what MSC's doing to accommodate us,
Nice.
All right.
And we're going to have a wonderful time. It's going to be fun.
They're cleaning a lot of that manure out of those extra rooms for the guests, right?
No.
Again,
hey, our ship, let me tell you, CDC just announced and that our ship is a 100% grade quality of cleanliness.
Gray?
They just announced that today. So
100% grade.
Oh, a 100 grade. Gotcha.
Tony, is there any cruise ships where you can still shoot skeet at sea? I've always wanted to do that.
I don't. Probably ones I don't sell. I'm sure that some.
Then go fuck yourself.
Again, if you want to book a cruise for you or your family or a group cruise, ahoycruises.com. Tony and Deb are the best.
Or you can do what a lot of our listeners do that have more money than us and book a cruise for your fantasy football draft as a total flex. Like I've heard people are doing. Didn't somebody do that,
shit.
Tony? Yeah, somebody used Tony and booked a cruise for their fantasy football, just the draft. On the cruise. I'm like, damn, that's a flex. We love you, buddy. Be good. And tell Deb we said hey.
I will. We'll see you guys soon. Bye-bye.
Dude rolled into a fireworks tent yesterday with an AP on his wrist, and I was like, that's his fucking like shopping for fireworks banger. I was like,
I wouldn't wear that there. Man, not. I mean, get your arm chopped off.
Dude.
And you know what he's going to buy. The Gatling gun and the stuff all
6
the way in the
Gatling
back.
guns, please.
All right,
a break?
Yeah, let's take a break.
Let's see. Brand new artist I hadn't heard of. The name of the band in all caps is Gel. We'll be back with more on Mediocre Time. The name of the song is Persona. 1-844-TOMNDAN. Show at TomandDan.com if you have an email that you'd like to give us.
Hollabox German restaurant in Sanford. 2 days ago, me and Crystal went to Hollabox for dinner.
Nice, buddy.
And we just popped in there. We're in Sanford. Let's go to Hollabox.
Yeah.
And she got the vegetarian schnitzel, I believe. She loved it.
Oh, I wonder what that is. I don't think I've ever... I have to ask Pat about that. I don't even know how he pulls that off.
Oh, yeah. That's always one of her favorite things. And we got potato pancakes as appetizer.
Oh, dude, I could eat those until I'm sick.
Yeah. And I got the ice.
Do you put the applesauce and the sour cream on them?
Yeah.
You load them up?
Yeah,
you do both?
Yeah.
I don't think... I think you're supposed to do one or the other. I just put it all on.
Oh, me too. Yeah. And the... I believe it's pronounced Eisben.
Yeah, I believe you said that correctly.
And it's the pork shank on the mashed potatoes and sauerkraut. It's ridiculous.
It's a big-ass roasted pork shank.
Yeah.
That... I mean, just ask Chef Pat for it.
Yeah.
You don't even need to order. Just go there. Just like, give me the shank.
And it was
shank me, Pat.
And I'm gonna remember to do this more. Like during the week, we just pop by Hollabox, and then I'm like, that was a
nice
treat.
Yeah, dude.
At dinner, at a delicious dinner. They're driving home. I'm like, man, life is good.
Great place for families. All the entertainment, all the great German cuisine that you want. There's a reason that they are the premier. I'll say it, man. They're like premier Florida German restaurant.
Yeah.
It's like a historical place that you can go to in Sanford now. It's a compound of German fun, and you need to go by there and check it out.
And now they got Uberkeller, which is their upstairs Tapa-style German, plates. It's all small plates. I told Crystal, but we got to try Uberkeller for sure.
Are we going to do like something at the Knight's table? Or are we going to do something like a King's Feast type of a deal with some BDMs?
Well, definitely the beer garden upstairs, and they've got a compound there.
They've got the art house. They've got the Outfitters. If you want to get clothing.
The market.
If you want to get to-go meals, spaghetti eyes, Haribo gummy bears.
Yeah, deli sandwiches and all the German grocery. It's Hollabox German Restaurant in downtown Sanford.
Welcome back to A Mediocre Time.
So we saw a post on the BDM page. And by the way, if you want to be on the BDM page, first you got to be a BDM. Sign up at TomandDan.com. And then let us know you want to be on the page, and we'll get you on there. And
so we saw this post on the page, and it was, hey, guys, I'm at lunch. I just wanted to reach out.
And, what are the guys doing? Is there a show today?
Yeah.
Are they doing anything?
And we're like, this guy, we got to engage.
Me and Ross are talking, what is the motivation?
You guys are having a whole conversation.
It drives us crazy.
Because we both were radio listeners at one point.
And podcast listener. Like, if I called my favorite podcast or radio station or whatever, I would be prepared to contribute to what the show I've been listening to, like what they want.
That would, in fact, be the reason why you were calling. It would be the only reason you would call.
Well, what if it's like my wife at Chipotle? I've made this point in many shows. What if it's, she had every intention. She wants to participate. She loves Chipotle, but when she gets there, she wipes her mind clean like I do when I go to the Publix, and I have I don't know what I want for lunch freak out.
I'd accept it if Justin said, I had a reason, I forgot. But he didn't say that. He's like, I don't know why I called him. That's what I'm like, what do you don't know why?
No, we have somebody on the line.
No, but Dan is right, because it is the exact same thing as like the Pudding Queen line, where the line is 20 minutes long, and you get to the front, and you're like, all right, now which pudding do I want?
Let's go through them.
You were in line.
You're right.
Yeah.
Okay, so we saw this post on the BDM page, and it was a BDM that we knew that has been in here to watch a show, and
we know this guy,
and so we'll let him tell the story.
Yeah.
So,
welcome to the show, BDM sir.
How we doing, guys?
So now I did say I was like, we don't have to use her name. He didn't care, but I still feel bad airing your business. And
it was a shocker of a post, but we'll let you go ahead and say it.
I didn't anonymously post. So my name's Justin. I'm from Indiana. A lot of people know me. I don't, meet a lot of people, but. My wife went out of town this weekend, planned a trip with her friends. She's from Connecticut, where she grew up. And Justin Timberlake was playing Boston. Her and her friends all planned to go to Boston to go see Justin Timberlake. She drove out there. Her friend flew here. She drove out there. And then she was supposed to drive back yesterday. And she had a tattoo appointment yesterday morning with a friend who's a tattoo artist out there. And one of her ex-boyfriends, who she's been friends with since I've known her, basically, lives like 10 minutes from the tattoo artist because they're in the town she grew up in. So she was like, do you mind if I stay there? And I'm like, no, totally trust you. Like, we're good, no problem. And she called me yesterday on the way home and said, I cheated on you.
Who? So,
was that guy's name Justin too? we got Justin Timberlake. If this guy's name is Justin too, it's just something.
Maybe it's a
So
it was one martini.
So what did she tell you happened?
She said they were at his house, which I knew. I knew she was there. They were hanging out, having some cocktails. She said they both got intoxicated. He made an advance on her, and she did not stop it.
All right.
Yeah.
So,
this is an age-old tale, right? I mean,
now,
God, I'm so sorry, dude.
A couple things. Number one,
also you have to understand that what you just said going into my ears and what you just said going into Tom's ears. Completely different looks on our faces.
Well, it's funny because
I think of Ross somewhere in the middle. I think maybe,
I think I'm more of a Ross.
Okay.
Okay, because
which is scary to think about.
Yeah, so you're gonna, yeah.
Yep.
So-
I'll tell you what I was
Love you,
telling you.
Rob.
Go fuck yourself, Scorpio.
my first thought is, why did she tell you?
So we haven't really talked a whole lot since that conversation. Probably just guilt, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
She knows I would never, like, do something like that, and she knows that's, like, the one thing that's a deal breaker in our relationship.
So is
She's
she
been cheated on before.
So is she a selfish
And-
person?
Somewhat.
So that's why, Tom. She feels bad and she wants to feel better, so she confesses.
Oh, yeah. She's already tried to, like...
Yeah. Can't we move past this? I told you about it already. Can't we just move past it? I got to read on this lady right now.
In my robot
you can't
brain,
just forgive me.
I'm like, there wouldn't be as much guilt if no one knew.
Yeah, no, I know. But I try to put myself in the position because I am a sensitive person. I try to put myself in and I am a selfish person too.
Yeah.
I know I am. So I know that I would probably want to. I know that I have to get it off my chest just for myself to move on. And also, you are true. It is. Tom is correct. You are saddling somebody else with a burden that's real ginormous.
Now, let me ask you this. Now it's already happened. It can't be unwrung.
Yeah.
But
you can't put the toothpaste back in the tube, which is a completely. I shouldn't have said that.
So, now in retrospect, would you have rather not known and she just came home and then you just went on with your life and they're like, this never happened?
Well, first off, Tom, stop yelling at me.
Sorry. That's how I talk, sir.
I love you, Tom. You're awesome. So no, I would rather know.
Yeah, you're better off.
I would rather know because then I can make my own decision on it.
True.
Now,
and I don't know what that decision is yet.
Yeah, but I mean, it's going to be different for everybody too, because like the easy thing I think for most people, and I think myself included, and most people in here, it's like you want to say like, well, I mean, you got to flush it down the toilet and move on, but it's
That's
not.
definitely what the Rosses are thinking.
Yeah, I know, and that's in me too. But I also know that things are typically more complicated.
Here's
than
why:
that.
it's like the jizz is still drying on her thigh, and she's putting it on him. Like, hey, can't we get past this? I already confessed. Let's move on.
Well, I don't know what she said,
Fuck
so
that.
I don't know if she's doing that.
Exactly what Ross is saying is what she's saying.
Okay, all right.
But also, she did tell you.
Is my wife next to you, Ross?
Dude, she said the part about jizz on her thigh. She said that.
Oh, verbatim.
Oh, Jesus, guys, that's making me uncomfortable, and that takes a lot. It takes a lot to rattle the double D. But I am literally, look at that. I got my hair standing up on my fucking arm, dude.
Yeah.
So, again...
Woo! I'm a triggery boy.
Are you doing forearm stuff? Or
She
are you
asked
just
me
trying to
to
show
smell
off
her
your forearms?
fingers.
No, hold on. You told me not to joke.
Now,
No, I told you to joke.
Oh, okay, sorry. I'll turn it up then.
Now, people may think this is...
I want to cry right
What
now.
would her fingers smell like of his? That was.
Stop. Let's. Oh my God.
People may think it's
I mean,
fake or...
hers and his mixed together.
I
She
can't.
flew
I'm doing
home. She
the
had to
Tom
wash her
thing. I'm
hands.
doing the stop. No.
drove.
Yeah, they were in here watching a show like when a couple months ago, right?
September.
In September.
We went on the 15th anniversary cruise for Tony.
Yeah, but you guys, here's what I would say. Knowing what little I do know about you, and you are, listeners
You
of
know
our show.
nothing about me, Dan.
I really don't, but I do. But I know that you guys have both been together through a pretty big life change, right? Like
life change plus almost near death a couple times.
Sure, yeah. So you guys have been through a lot. Like whether it be, and that's your business. But yeah, you've been through some pretty.
Oh, he doesn't care about sharing his business.
I know, but I'm not used to airing out other people's shit. You know what I mean?
Air it.
So they both got gastric bypass.
Yeah, lost a ton of weight, and you do see.
Oh, my dick got so much bigger too.
But you do see that sometimes, right? Like you see that people not freak out, but they lose weight, they go and it shakes something up in them or something.
Can we sidebar for 1 second? Because people do always discuss the benefits of losing weight, like being like heart healthiness and like increased energy and stuff like that. And your dick does get bigger. Like you lose.
So much bigger.
I compare it now to the Easter Island statues. You know how you see the head of them, but if you remove that hill, there's a whole dude statue there. You as a fat guy, you got the head of your Easter Island statues, and there's a lot buried under that hill.
Oh yeah,
I don't understand why
do an Audi.
I don't understand why we don't promote that fact for people to lose weight more. I think it is a very much more promoting fact.
So now what? So you said you don't know what you're going to do. Now you don't have any kids, right?
No kids yet. We were
Aw.
actually just started trying for kids.
Oh no, dude! Start burying that Easter Island statue all over town.
Well, she's
dude.
still trying, technically.
How long
That's
have
my first one. Yeah,
Thank you.
how
Thank you, Dan.
That's my first one. It feels good. It feels pretty good. It feels pretty good. It feels pretty good.
and you'll be able to tell. I know the jokes. So, how long have you been together? Because that does make a difference. I feel like if this is a couple-year relationship, I feel like it's easier to move on than if it's like a 10-year relationship.
You just said they took their 15-year anniversary
Oh,
cruise when they were in September.
No, I didn't.
No, the Tony's 15th anniversary. The Holy
my
Cruise is 15th anniversary cruise. But if Tom had read the post, it said we've been married for 6 and together for 10.
Okay, all right.
That's
so,
a long time, dude.
That
10,
is.
10 years together, 6 years married.
So, is there any way, because I'm a very much like path of least resistance type of person, and I would look at the situation, like say Crystal like went on
What if it was
some
me?
real estate.
She went to see the Far Side concert in Miami,
Yeah,
and then stayed with some dude.
Yeah,
you guys
yeah.
went to high
Stayed
school
with Antonio.
Yeah,
because
yeah,
it was
Antonio.
around-
We
Yeah.
have to say it's Antonio.
Yeah,
Okay,
it was with
yeah, yeah.
Antonio.
So the way I look at it, and this is again how
Because
my
if she stayed
robot.
with, if she stayed with Fernando, it would be non-consensual, and that's not on her.
Yeah, he's the rapist.
Well, no,
This guy knows, he knows all the
Are you
stuff.
drunk, sir?
I made
No, I
a
did just
nice
smoke
little
some
joke.
weed, though.
So I do look at it like, because it's an ex-boyfriend, like he's already been with it.
Oh.
So
You don't know that.
That's an interesting
Well,
angle.
yeah, I do. I do.
don't know that.
Yeah, the ex-boyfriend has already been there.
We don't know that.
Well,
not
He was
everyone.
her first.
Not everybody that
Okay.
dates has sex, so you're just assuming.
Well-
Everything you do on the show is just like
Yeah, but I'm
littered with assumptions.
most
He's
likely.
not wrong, though.
Turns out he's right.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
we'll
that's
give him
fair.
that one.
And then because of that, it seems like less than if it was just a random stranger. It's like, okay, well, that, I know it's after.
See, random
but it's like-
stranger is easier because random stranger, there's nothing connected. The reason
Random stranger's way easier.
yeah, I'm with him. Random strangers, like you never have to
Like,
see that
if she
person
just got
again.
drunk in a bar and fucked some random dude and never saw him again
I
and
agree.
had zero way to contact him.
I agree.
Great.
This is they had something. There's enough linked up there for her to reevaluate it again.
No, you guys have to know I'd rather rip my liver out with my bare hands than agree with Tom, but Tom's right. And he just convinced me of this because she already turned down this dick for you. She's going to have no problem turning it down again for you, sir. Like, this dick was insufficient the first time. She, got
But there's
drunk
been
and did
so
make a
many other
mistake.
guys, Ross. So many other guys between him and me.
No. Okay.
And-
Oh, yeah, okay, see, I didn't
But
think about
don't
that.
have it all. I think-
So yeah, I would do. I'm more of a stranger on this one because there's a reason why I think people when they're doing like a threesome they look out for like just hey, don't tell me your name. You'll be number
Yeah,
two.
full rando.
Yeah.
But again, that's emotional as compared to
Right.
the pure logic of it. Like, oh, well, technically, that
But you
was
have
already.
to, but if you're going to
one.
say pure logic, you have to.
Right.
Then everything in your life has to be pure logic. You have to say like trying to.
no, I
trying
don't.
to achieve
It-
logic.
by the way, it has nothing to do with logic.
I still think this is going to be like, how sometimes you get, I quit smoking decades ago, but sometimes you get drunk and you have a
want one so
cigarette
bad.
and then you oh, this was fucking awful. Why did I do this? In the morning you feel disgusting and ashamed of yourself. I still think this is a cigarette when
What
you're
would you
drunk.
say?
Okay,
Yeah, every 15 years or so, you just have some dick you had
Correct.
before.
What
Yeah.
would you say
I gotcha.
to someone in the chat
That's
room
smart.
saying, "Why are you airing all of this out on a podcast?" What would you say?
Because nobody fucking knows me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's kind of
that's true.
anonymous,
It
except for
is.
you said your
Yeah.
name and where you're from.
Yeah, exactly.
I was going to try to hide that.
But hey,
I've
that's
met like 5 BDMs ever.
Yeah.
Gotcha. No, I got you. I
Because you're
got
out of
you.
town.
And
So-
if you don't have anybody else to talk to, it does feel good to talk stuff out.
Yeah,
with
and
people.
I live in a city where I don't have anyone in this city.
Yeah, and I hate it when people act as if things like this don't make you feel better. They do. It's like saying drugs
Yeah,
don't make
no,
you
this
feel
is
better.
super
or alcohol.
cathartic.
Yeah.
So back to how
I'm airing this out because you guys are helping me.
No.
Fuck that listener.
We're heroes.
Back to how I'd handle it.
Always.
So I'm looking. So Crystal tells me, she calls me. She's at the Justin Timberlake concert in Miami. She's like, I hooked up with my old boyfriend Antonio. Well, I
was
feel
staying at
bad.
his house before my.
Dread in the box.
I was
Yeah.
staying at his house before my tattoo
Yeah,
appointment.
yeah, yeah.
Right.
I would let that happen as well too, Justin. But because I I would have been like, stay wherever you want. If it's free, all right, good.
I don't know.
So then she tells me,
I don't know. I can't do that.
And
I can never. If Andrew's like, I'm gonna stay at my ex-boyfriend's house, I'm like, you're not.
So here's the advantage for me, right? So I can move past anything.
It is called trust, but she wouldn't do it if she respected you. Is the opposite into that to me?
I could be like, all right, I'll move past it, and then but I also know that this is going to linger where she's going to feel bad, and my life may improve. Because she knows she did something wrong, and then she is going to, try to make up for it for years.
Yeah, but there's no quality base. That is a spinning plate, bro. That is a spinning plate.
So my life technically got better, and all I know of something that happened that doesn't even matter anymore because it happened in the past.
So my life got better because I let my wife fuck another dude. Look at me, guys. Look how great my life is because I let my wife fuck another dude. But I'm the coolest.
But
pure logic.
No. Well, I'm not telling people. I'm not telling my.
Well, people know. Every time you walk around, people are like, "There's the dude that let his wife and is okay with his wife fucking another dude." There's Cuck Jones walking down the road.
Well, I didn't call in the Ross Tucker podcast.
That is very Tom-like.
What happened?
She is the only girl I've ever been with.
All right.
Okay. Well, based on that, though.
I mean, now
they're handling it really well for somebody that's only had one, I would say.
Now, let me see.
Is there any chance you're bad at fucking?
Very possibly.
Okay.
That's an honest answer.
I mean, like, get a book or a magazine or a video or something. That's like a
magazine.
First stop.
Magazine. It again. That doesn't help you.
Magazine.
Some sort of instructional.
You gotta lick that little thing.
Just the Playboy Advisor. If there's a collected volume of the Playboy Advisor.
I do the same things I see in pornos. It's not that hard.
What, you hawk to it?
No. You're like no.
They don't even like the porno stuff. Then you're doing it 100% wrong.
No. You're just pumping
you're supposed to drill press it and upside down.
No, not that extreme. I'm just saying the regular.
And then you're like, stepbrother, I'm so glad to see you.
You like hold her head up and make her look at it.
No, I'm just saying.
Do you make her cup the cum with her hands and eat it?
No, but it's not.
I can't make Andrea do that.
It's not something.
She has to make lunches in the morning.
You are a heathen.
It's not something extreme. Like you watch the X Games, you can't do that, but I can do what they do in the pornos. You know what I'm saying?
You're confusing me.
It's not that hard. It's
this guy.
You're just pumping, and it's like, all right, I can do that now.
I do not want to see Tom's Sexual 900.
So,
everybody's been throwing out stuff like therapy, maybe couples counseling. Like, I mean, I do agree with, taking some time for yourself.
What a pain in the ass.
But thinking about himself is important. I mean, like...
Justin, what do you want?
I don't even know. My head is so, like, everywhere right now that it's still, I think I'm still in, like, shock of it all because I was not expecting that.
Just act like nothing. It's the easiest thing. Just act like just tell her like, listen, never talk about it again. Let's just move on because that's the easiest. You live together. You don't have to you don't have to move all your shit.
Yeah, and then you'll never fucking snap when "Cry Me a River" comes on the radio like 10 years from now.
Just be mentally stronger than that.
He sent me a video of him doing that song at the concert.
Just forget about it.
Don't make it worse.
Just don't think about it.
I can never talk to Ross again.
Just because you have to get a divorce, you have to move all your shit.
You could never talk to the person again and just stay legally married. You could do that.
No, but then there's a lot of bad paperwork that comes with that.
I know people that stayed married for a long time.
We did get a huge medical settlement payout, so that's coming soon.
Yeah, this
sounds half of that.
Oh, God.
Yeah,
this is a mess.
Yeah, no, definitely stay in a broken relationship for money. That's the way to do it.
I mean, that is...
well, until you get the money.
I got to last like 60 days, and then I can divorce it and get half of that.
Okay, yeah, do that.
Well, I wouldn't be saying it on the show.
But after 60 days, you're like, too much.
He doesn't listen.
Too much of a pain in the ass. Like, just such a pain.
He's so much more confident for this happening to him than I would ever be. You know what I mean? Like, I would be under that couch and they're crying right now.
Yeah. Like, that was me last night. I drove home drunk last night.
No, don't do that.
I drive a 6-speed, so I mean, I do okay, I guess.
Don't do it. What are you doing? What are you doing?
Well, we're sorry it happened. I just wanted you to air your business on our show.
Very confident.
So
That's what
we
I'm here for,
benefit.
Tom.
Huh?
I'm here for your amusement and your listeners.
Well,
Hey,
thank you.
I don't know what's happening right now.
Justin,
Yes, sir.
what kind of tattoo did she get?
It was actually, she canceled the appointment, so she didn't end up getting the tattoo, but it was to finish a tattoo in honor of her dead grandmother.
Oh, I wish it was the jizz on her thigh.
What, an outline of it?
Like an autograph from a celebrity.
I wish it was the logo for MGK.
So you know what? I'm just gonna Justin. Like sometimes when I'm having a hard time making a decision, like a pro con list, I'll sit there at pro con list and then weigh them. And I guess you'll just have to put on your pro con list that she canceled finishing her dead grandmother's tattoo to get laid by this dude.
Well, no, that was after getting laid by him.
Well,
all right.
Good luck with everything. I hope it turns out okay.
Yeah. It would have been disrespectful.
I'm sure this made it better.
I don't know if we helped anything. We did feel bad for you. So if you need anything, I don't know how we could help it.
No more drinking and driving, okay?
Oh, dead already.
That's pretty funny. That's pretty funny. I'll give you that. Hold on. All right.
You know what?
Hey, Josh, that's how you call a fucking show, dude.
The whole story.
He swerved off the road at the very end there. Okay, this is a joke. It's a joke.
Mm-hmm.
No more drinking and driving, buddy.
You know what?
You got to stop that.
Yeah.
You know what? This reminded me of when you said stay legally married and just forget about it.
I know people that have done that. When you're like, no, I'm like, that was the girl I dated. They were still married, dude.
Yeah, a lot of people don't go through the pain in the ass of getting the legal divorce. So, but I got a story further than that. I've never told this on the show, but I dealt with this for almost a year and a half. So when I was handling my grandfather's, my pop-up's estate.
Oh, I want to say penis.
So I'm handling his estate, getting all cleared up with all the grandkids or whatever, and on his main piece of property with his house on, right? The lawyer was like, "Hey, who is this person's name that's on the or that your grandfather was legally married to or whatever?" And I'm like, that's my grandma. But I didn't even they got divorced in the 60s. Right, so that long ago, in the 60s or whatever,
back when it was quick,
and they're like, oh well, this shows that they the court had them still legally married or whatever, and then so her name is she has half ownership of the property. Now she's already passed. And then I'm like, what? And then we have to find her descendants and give her half of the money.
No kidding.
From the property because she's legally ownership of it. And I'm like, what?
But they were divorced.
Yeah. Oh yeah. For 48, you know what I'm saying? My entire life.
Yeah, but if they didn't correct that back then I guess it still stands now.
What happened? They didn't send in the box top or something to get it officially registered?
It was never the court system never officially someone fucked up paperwork.
Yeah, it was just fell through the cracks,
and
right?
So then we had to hire an attorney to go dive in. They have the all the files of old courthouse Miami files in some sort of Indiana Jones.
Yeah. You gotta go get the microfiche.
The microfiche, yeah. And so we had to hire an attorney.
I like to say microfiche.
And then the attorney found, they're like, oh, I found where it says,
yes, here it is.
The divorce document is on page 2B. And then he
was in the box in the attic of the van house.
Then he went to that page, wrong. They put a wrong document.
No.
When whoever was organizing it back in the fucking 60s
they
or
were
whatever.
Idiots then too.
They just fucked up the paperwork.
It was 2C and they wrote 2B. Yeah.
And so that one document that we needed was gone. And then I had to go through a tremendous.
Dude, it took I remember this took forever.
Huge pain in the ass before everything was settled.
It's just a blind search.
Yeah. So then it was a huge pain in the ass. Thousands in lawyer bills of just going and getting it all settled before because essentially it was just all open and it couldn't be closed until this, and it was all from bad paperwork.
Yeah.
And then so
opened and not able to be closed, like Jim Colbert's butthole.
Yeah. And I was like, God, what? I mean, my pop-up would be pissed if he knew about this shit. But it just
got it handled eventually, right?
Yeah. It just took thousands of dollars in 2 years.
That was so frustrating when my mother passed. they were making me, in order to do things, they'd be like, and I'm already dealing with the grief of that. And then you'd show up to do things, and they'd be like, do you have the death certificate? And I'd be like, here it is. And they'd be like, do you have your father's death certificate? And I'd be like, I don't have that. And then, like, am I supposed to? I was, at one time, I was like driving around carrying like 30 copies of both of my dead parents' like certificates in my car. I'm like, nobody should have to do that. There's got to be an easier way to do that, where you're driving around town handing pieces of paper that claim your parents are dead.
Like, if the 7-Eleven can scan my fucking license to see if I can buy cigarettes or not, there should be some sort of online database of whether my parents are dead.
Also, when they look at the death certificate, it's just like they're not like looking through a like a magnifying glass, or like looking at the seal or whatever. They're just like, okay,
they don't even
just print it out or anything.
It's just they look to see if it's on the blue paper with like the Florida thing. That's it.
You easily fake this. Anyway, so let's take a break.
Yes, sir.
When we come back, we're going to talk to Ross
it's
about
what
some
you've been waiting for.
Pyro Spot tent confrontations.
I wonder if anything's happened.
And because
a spicy one today.
Ross literally came from Pyro Spot to here, and he's going to be
changed my shirt like a gentleman.
Yes. Mm-hmm. We were talking about how hot that tent is now.
Dude, you know what the problem is? It's like that we sit on like a little piece of a big parking lot, and just the sun bakes that whole parking lot. So our asphalt is the same temperature as that whole parking lot. It doesn't matter what. We got a little bit of shade. It's just as hot.
Crazy. Let's play a little bit of music. The name of the artist is Coral Moons. The name of the song is Poser. We'll be right back with more on Mediocre Time. 1-844-TOMNDAN show at TomandDan.com. If you would like to squeeze in a big holiday weekend phone call.
I'm a poser and everybody wants to buy.
If you're looking for a vehicle, we got two dealerships that have been working with us for over 10 years now. It's Sport Subaru right there on North John Young Parkway. It's a brand new dealership. It's beautiful, state-of-the-art.
Super nice, yeah.
Mike Stacks is the person to talk to. He has worked with lots and lots of BDMs.
I just sent a BDM to Mike Stacks because I believe his son or daughter wanted to see about getting a pre-owned Subaru. Hey, great choice. And Mike is the guy. He can certainly help you out on that or any other pre-owned vehicle that they may have.
Yeah, Subaru owners, that's a group of dedicated car owners. And
they're loyal.
And they have lifetime powertrain warranties. They hold their value for resale. Also, if you're interested in the Chevy side of things, Don Mealy Chevrolet in Claremont, J.C. Harrelson is a sales manager up there. He'll put you with a great salesperson that's going to take care of you. And if he knows you're a Tom and Dan listener, he'll give you the best service and make sure you get the best deal. And that mid-engine Corvette, I
saw a mid-engine Corvette yesterday in a porno.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It was impressive. It was impressive.
Yeah, it looks like a supercar.
Yeah, my God.
I have a
Was I not supposed to say that?
No, I don't want to.
Sorry. I'm not a liar, though, Tom.
I have you threw me off. God damn it.
It was white.
Chevy Silverado.
It was white.
My wife has a Chevy Traverse. She loves it if you're looking for like SUV side of things, but any Chevy, they've got them. So there's two dealerships, Sport Subaru right there on North John Young Parkway and Don Mealy Chevrolet in Claremont.
That is brand new music from Make War. The name of the song is Goodbye to All of That. Welcome back to A Mediocre Time with Tom and Dan. I am Dan.
I'm Tom. Let's do some confrontation of the week.
Yes, sir.
Ross! What do you mean? You need to see ID. No, I won't get my wife. You'll deal with me. Ross's confrontation of the week.
It's a masterpiece.
Ross's Confrontation of the Week brought to you by Tots with Ross, the Orlando talk show with Ross McCoy, found anywhere podcasts are heard, and Pyro Spot Fireworks, where Ross will be at later today and tomorrow selling
Yep.
fireworks.
I'll go right from here to there, and tomorrow I'll be there like 12 goddamn hours selling fireworks.
Oh, man.
That's a big day.
A lot of people go on 4th of July, right?
Yeah. What's that about?
It's the last.
Do you do your Christmas shopping on Christmas too?
Me and my dad used to like to do that.
It's impulsive.
Not on
It is
Christmas,
fun.
but we used
Boxing
to enjoy.
Day. Yeah,
we would do
dude.
Christmas Eve, and not to be Mr. Nostalgia today, but dude, we'd get in the car and we'd take off to the Daytona Beach Volusia Mall, and we take off, and it was like he was so stressed out, my dad. I gotta get the goddamn acetona gloves, and I gotta get the Oscar de la Renta perfume, and I gotta get the Clinique makeup, and I gotta get the Liz Claiborne blouses.
Okay, now that I say that, we maybe like a couple times when we were broker and the kids were younger and didn't maybe understand calendars as well, we would like maybe delay Christmas until the day after Christmas when those sales always hit the day after Christmas. We would do Christmas shopping on
Why
26
is that
months.
a bad
a
idea?
2-year-old doesn't
Somebody
know.
tell me why
Yeah.
that's a bad idea.
We
I
did
think
it.
that's a brilliant idea.
Yeah.
It's like
They
buying
don't have
Halloween
dates.
candy
The day
the day
after, yeah.
after, and then saving it an entire year to give to the kids.
I like that.
So
I don't save it a whole year. I don't.
So what's been going on in the tent?
Back in the parking lot in Longwood, dude. It's been a lot quieter. Like New Year's, nothing much happened. So I thought maybe like this parking lot was dead now, but it's back for the summer, baby.
Okay, all right. The summer heats it up.
We lost like over somewhere between like last 4th and New Year's. We lost the discount housewares mart that never sold anything.
No,
Like and I don't know if that was a front for something or if that was involved. Like once it went, it seemed like a lot quieter in the parking lot.
Okay.
But nothing you can pin on anybody. There was some. So okay, I'll start you guys with the mystery. Check this out.
Okay.
So yesterday we're just tooling around, putting the carts out and stuff, and parking lot's kind of quiet. So I'm like, I can see the individual cars in the parking lot, and one of them is this Ford Explorer with like just two guys sitting in the front seats with the doors open, kind of just like looking out the window.
that's what Tom did at the Johnny's Other Side Burger Bash.
come on.
He sat in that old man's Mustang with the door open, and
Why
then
do
when
you
the
keep
doors,
saying that?
then when the doors shut,
why do you
he
keep
sucked
saying-
his dick.
No, stop saying that. Like, so what if I
Stop sucking old man's dick?
No, what if I? No,
No,
come
stop
on.
saying it.
No, what if my sons? What if I die and they go back and listen to this?
Let's see what Dad did. Well, they'll ask me. They'll confront me. What if they confront me like the Menendez?
No.
You said our dad sucks dick. Kablooey! And they blow me through a sliding glass door.
Then they're at the Magic basketball game.
Courtside. They got all the gear. Oh, my God. I would love that. Sorry, Russ.
No.
So there's this Ford Explorer, right? And the two guys are like sitting in the front seat, and I have a just like normal course of the day. I walk past them a couple times. They're kind of in the vicinity where I'm parked, so I just end up walking back to my car a couple times, and they kind of always like straighten up and act like they're changing manner somehow when I'm walking. It's just they're getting a weird vibe.
Okay.
And so at one point, I go to get a bag of ice for our cooler, and like the store that has ice is diagonally from our tent. They're like on the midpoint of the line. So I walk from the store, walk past them, and they do their little straighten up. And I just walk by, and there's nothing unusual going on at all. Just two guys sitting in the van. They've been sitting there for hours, but just two guys sitting in the van, looking out the windshield or whatever. Go get the ice, and I come back, and they don't see me coming from the backside. So I am able to observe what they are doing, which is both of them have like mini binoculars out, and they're like peering at something across the parking lot.
Hey, man.
Okay.
Hey, man, let's watch them Winghouse girls put their Uggs on.
They're staring across the parking lot in the
What are they looking at?
They're looking approximately in the direction of either barbershop or plasma donation center, one of those two things.
Okay, all right.
And like
Damn it,
so,
when the plasma center's clear.
With tiny binoculars.
like the little field glasses,
Yeah,
like little tiny
like
like
you use it like a magic
sporting game
Yeah,
or something.
yeah, okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they're like, and both of them it's not like one of them was like, hey, look at that. And they got the binoculars. They both have binoculars.
Okay.
And they're both peering through them at the same time at something. And I'm like, of course I'm trying to see what, but like I don't have fucking binoculars. So I can't tell what the hell they're looking at. Could even be like across.
You were
maybe
jealous.
Maybe they're looking at rookies across the street. I don't know.
Jealous,
like,
you're like I want binoculars.
and I do have a pair of Marlboro Adventure Team binoculars
Hell
in a
yeah.
carry case. I don't know why I didn't have them on my belt. I'm an idiot. But so like as I come abreast with the van again, like the ice bags kind of click together, and they see me and they're like and they hide the binoculars. They
Our
get through
cover's blown.
right. And so, like, by the time I get back to the tent, they have peeled out like the A team, and like you can see the whole fucking parking lot from the tent. I just watch them like kind of like sketchily leave the parking lot, and then later they came back. They parked in a different spot, and they were binocularing it again. And so now I got like all the tent kids in, and I'm like, watch that Bronco. If you see him, let me know. Especially if you see him using binoculars. And so like they keep coming back. They were back there this morning, just same spot as original, like kind of halfway between us and the Save-A-Lot. And they're performing. And okay, so is the state of this van? This van is broken down, full of trash. It's not like cops on a stakeout or something. It looks like
unless you want people to know you're not on a stakeout and you fill your van full of trash.
I apologize. It is either like just two assholes with a van full of trash or cops very well camouflaged.
Yeah, they're doing their due diligence. They're undercover.
They're not hiding themselves.
They are. They're hiding him every time he walks by with the ice. They put their binoculars.
Yeah, but Ross noticed it now he's telling everybody is like they're not
they're not good.
They're not good at it.
But they are trying. Like they're sitting there and like they're trying to hide the glasses when people come by, and they're in a part of the parking lot that isn't very high traffic.
Okay.
So that's a mystery. I have no fucking idea.
You have no idea what they're doing.
Can we confront them? Can we confront them?
Yeah, let's do it.
Do they have weapons?
100%.
Okay.
What could the
I didn't expect that answer.
Did you come up with any possible scenario that makes sense?
Cheating old lady. It's Tom and Dan, and Andrew's cheating on me, and you're riding out with me, and we're sitting there with our binoculars, and I'm like, she's cheating on me, dude. We have to cut her head off. And you're like, no, dude, you're trying to talk me down, and we're looking through the binoculars.
You think it's like a relationship?
I don't know. But
that could
one
be
of the first things I can come up with is two guys, on the stakeout because they're trying to figure out if somebody's up to no good, right?
Because the only thing that I could think of that you would need surveillance for is like cops, obviously doing surveillance.
What about
or
insurance fraud?
Insurance fraud, but this doesn't look like that, right?
What if they're like the guy on the wire that like robs robbers and they're like setting up a heist? You know, like
all right. Like what is that thing where that people say, like, if you are walking up your car after you're leaving a store and there's a water bottle on top of your tire, do not remove it.
Right.
Somebody has put it there for you to walk up. As soon as you pull it out, they'll El Kabong you on top of the head and steal your riches.
Or if there's a penny on the ground, you know, they'll reach out and slash your Achilles tendon.
Yeah. Have you seen
that?
Is that on your algorithm? Probably not. Too calm.
No paranoia on my algorithm whatsoever.
Too calm to have ever seen that.
All right, so here's just a random maniac. I was closing up the tent a couple days ago, which is, you know, we roll the tent sides up in the morning and let them down at night because, like, you know, we have so much product we have to lock up. Basically, your average, you know, dipshit TNT tent on the street, they just have like folding tables out. They lock it up in a container at night and they're good to go. Craig puts out like literally a brick and mortar store's worth of shit in this tent, so we have to lock up at night. And so I'm rolling down the tent sides to lock up, and a guy walks up to me from the sidewalk and he goes, "Hey man, y'all sell these?" And he holds out, like, you know, the coffee canister your grandma would keep cookies in. It's like that, but with like a big plastic cone coming off the top, and I could see written on the side the word nitrous. So I'm like, "Sir, I think you found a car part." I think, like, because there's like a tuner store across the street, and there's like cars going up and down 1792 there like all day, every day.
Okay.
I'm like, I think you found a part that's fallen off a tuner car, sir. That looks like some car nitrous to me. And he goes, "No, man, look at this." And he taps on the side where it says food grade. And I'm like, "Oh, okay, sir. You have acquired like a pound and a half of whippets in gas form." Like, congratulations.
Hell yeah. Dude, give me that and one of those Gatling guns. And we got July 4th.
And so he goes, "Oh man, I'm gonna smoke it." And he holds it up to his face like a bong and like makes like lighter motions underneath. And I'm like,
put it in my butt.
And I'm like, "Sir, I'm pretty sure if you try that will explode and kill you." I really wouldn't.
Really poor idea.
And then so he looks at the tent and he goes, "Y'all sell balloons?" And I'm like, "No, we don't sell the balloons. We don't sell the cracker you're going to need. You're going to have to like find a head shop, buddy."
So he was looking for nitrous oxide to do whippets.
He had found the nitrous oxide, and he was looking for like other means. And also, he was somewhat addled to begin with, so like he was a merry
it's hard
gentleman.
To talk to.
Like,
you ever done it? It's hard to talk to people when you've done whippets. Whoa.
But at the end of the day, I think what he's probably found is like somebody probably cracked that thing into a trash bag and was like riding around having the time of their life, and they tossed the fucking canister out, and that's what he had.
They used to do that at party. I remember you would go to a party and there'd be like a dude just ripping bags and you take money and handing them out.
Yep.
People just killing their brains.
I've seen that.
Remember Steve-O when he was addicted to that shit, and like he had that documentary where his entire apartment like was ankle deep in those
Silver
tiny
bottles.
silver,
which did look cool. For some reason,
It is like a neat flooring.
It's
Sure.
like,
It's
here's
the
the thing
coolest
about
drug trash.
it is.
The rest of jar is like aluminum foil with burn marks in it.
It is, but I will make an argument. When you came over to my house and it was nothing but ashtrays filled with cigarettes and Coors Lights everywhere, I thought that looked pretty cool.
Yeah, but is it more
It's like
dirty
cool
than nitrous bottles?
desperation.
Yeah. Random cracky asking for any sort of container he could put nitrous in.
All right, and then finally a true confrontation. I kicked this guy out of the fucking tent.
All right. Whoa.
I ejected a gentleman from our fucking complex. And it felt
Have you
so
ever done
good.
that? Like, not very often, right?
No, not in the, I fired a kid last year.
Did we talk about that?
I don't know.
You're fired.
He drank too many milkshakes and puked, and he's like, "I can still work." And I was like, "No, get out of here."
Get out of here. You're too soft for it's too soft for this game. You can't drink 3 milkshakes and still work. Get the fuck out of here.
It was like 12
You're soft,
milkshakes. It was
milkshake
like
boy.
a lot of milkshakes.
Hold on, you fired him for drinking too many milkshakes?
No, for throwing up.
Oh, okay.
This is the greatest thing Ron's ever done.
Did he just puke onto the floor of the tent? Or did he go over to the grass medium?
The best thing you've never told us about. You drink too many milkshakes. You're like, get the fuck out of here, Pukey.
And to
You're
be
fucking
fair,
up my tent.
I fired him for approximately 4 hours. He was back the next day. So, like, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh, God. My dad says you have to rehire me.
Craig is my uncle.
He's the one that bought me the milkshakes.
So this guy came in a couple days ago, and he was kind of a prick, but it's fine. I sold him some fireworks and went about his day. And he came back the next day, and he had a mortar tube, and he had like 3 loose mortars in his hand. He's like, "Hey, man, this thing blew up on the ground, and my ears are still ringing. And like, I can't believe you're selling unsafe fireworks here in this tent." And I was so,
Okay. So he
And
said
so-
the actual mortar blew up in the ground.
My ears are still ringing. See, I can't hear. Say something. I can't hear you.
you know what, Dan? You think that's fucking funny, but literally every time I talk to this guy, he would go, "Huh?" And like,
Yeah.
like my ears are still ringing.
Yeah, you
And
gotta sell
he'd
it.
make me shout. It was frustrating.
You got to
Anyway.
sell it.
So he and so yeah, he came and he reeked of whiskey. He like just reeked of whiskey. I could smell it on him, and that's all well and good. I'd get drunk and light fireworks too.
It's the way to do it.
But so he handed me the tube, and there was like a little plastic Chad at the top. So I just kind of, I in the spirit of customer service, I was like, you know what, sir, maybe I hung up on this Chad or something, and it was a bad round or something like that. I was like, would you like a refund, or we can get you a new kit? What do you want? Huh? What? My ears are ringing. And so, and ended up getting him a refund, right? So he gets his 34.
It will be real fun.
He gets his $34 back, and he leaves. And so I'm looking at the thing again, and I like slide around into the tube, and I kind of see if that Chad will catch it, and just not even under chemical propulsion, just under gravity's weight, it's sliding right out of the tube. And I look at the tube again, and if he had loaded it correctly, the explosion would have been at the top. It would have mushroomed at the top, and the explosion was at the bottom of this mortar tube. So what this guy did was load the round backwards.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, people do that all the time.
And he
yeah.
lit it upside down, and it went off at the bottom of the tube, and it really made his ears ring. But it was not Pirate Spot Fireworks Inc.'s fault
No
at all.
user error.
So you know what? At that point,
Did you run after the car like Terminator 2?
It's the double hook. You do one hook in, right? It's the first hook to get you on the car.
Yeah.
The second hook so you can peel the fucking roof back.
Then they dragged your dummy body behind. Oh, sorry.
And so, no, at that point, I figured it out. I understood what he had done, and I just called it a wash at that point. Like, at least, the fireworks are out of unsafe hands at this point.
Oh.
And we're better off without him having these fireworks in the streets. It's kind of what I decided, even though he did kind of fleece us a little bit. Whatever. He got one free one out of us.
Okay.
Basically. We got the other ones back.
Sure.
So we just went about my day. The next day, I come in, I'm going about my business, opening a tent up, and I go get some ice, and I come back.
PIs are still there.
And a couple of the girls at the counter are like, "Hey, we just had a real weirdo in here." And I was like, "Oh, yeah, what happened?" And they were like, "This guy came in and said, 'Do you just sell mortar tubes?' Yeah, I just need a tube." And we were like, no, we don't sell tubes. And he was acting weird and kind of like druggy. So they thought, they kind of put together, maybe he wants to make a bong out of it or something. That's kind of what they thought.
So many drug addicts end up at fireworks tents.
They're attracted to it like a moth to a flame.
It is, and they have no business going in. They have no home.
Yeah.
And they walk in there like, hey, man, I've got $3. What can I get for that?
Fireworks are fun and drugs make things better. It makes perfect sense.
Okay, yeah.
So they thought this guy came in looking for a mortar tube to make a bong out of. And I was like, that's interesting. And I turned to like one of the guys who'd been around the previous days. And I was like, hey, was it that guy that was in here before that put the round in wrong? And they were like, no, I wasn't that guy. And right as they're saying it wasn't that guy, I look up and that motherfucker's walking from Discount Tobacco Liquor towards our tent, the guy.
Okay.
And I was like, and so I point and I go, it wasn't that guy, right? Like that guy right there, that's the guy. It wasn't him, right? And the dude I'm talking to looks up and goes, no, it wasn't him, but the dude walking right next to him, it was that guy.
Okay.
So the guy that did, so they couldn't sell him a loose tube, so he went back to Discount Tobacco and Liquor, got his friend, and so the guy from the previous day who got the $34 back or whatever, he comes back to the tent, and I like walk up to the tent door, and I kind of stand there, and I'm like, hey, how's it going? And he goes, hey man, my dumbass roommate loaded a mortar wrong, it blew up our other tube. We need a tube to finish shooting out of our fireworks. And I was like, oh, yeah, he loaded it backwards, did he? And he's like, yeah, dumbass roommate, my ears are ringing again. And I'm like...
He's doing the bit again. I like the commitment.
So I say to him, well, sir, actually, after you left, we kind of determined that is actually what you did to that first tube, too. You loaded the round wrong. And he's like, no, man, no, that thing just... We were fine, and that thing just... I was like, no, sir.
It was the best firework I ever done seen.
I was like, I threw the tube away so nobody would, like, use it, sir, but we examined it, and you clearly loaded it backwards, upside down, and it blew up on the ground. And he's like, well, whatever. Anyway, we're going to go get some more mortars. And I go, no, you're barred. Get out of here. We're not selling you any fireworks.
Whoa.
What? And I'm like, yeah, you're unsafe with them. You're going to hurt yourself or somebody else. I can't sell you anymore. And then his friend who came in and tried to buy the mortar tube goes, well, I ain't with him. I'm going to go buy some mortars. And I was like, nope. You're barred too.
Oh, you're barred too?
Yeah.
Damn, that escalated quickly.
He goes,
you can't do this, kid. You can't bar anybody from your fireworks.
Well, I want their money.
This fucking idiot looks at me and goes, I ain't even with him. The guy he just walked up with from the drink.
Yeah.
I'm like, listen, I'm not as stupid as you. Fucking get the fuck out of here. You guys are not welcome to
Damn,
Fire
Ross.
Spy. Yeah.
That's ballsy, dude.
Fucking awesome.
Were they putting up any fight or?
No, at that point,
No.
they just left. Because, there's no. Yeah.
Damn, that was a good one.
It was fun.
And I like it that Craig pops out his RV. He's like, what? Never turn away a customer.
He's like, Mr.
Just let him buy whatever.
He's like, Mr. Krabs on SpongeBob. Mr. Krabs on SpongeBob. He's like, take every dollar you can get.
Oh, and I forgot. This is a fun little detail. Because at one point, I was trying to, like, really pin him down. And I was like, sir, so let me just ask you, when you were lighting the other day, did you reach into the tube to light the fuse? Because that's a sign you did it upside down, right? Like the fuse is long enough to come out the right way.
Yeah.
But if you load it upside down, it's just short. It won't poke out of the tube so you can light it. So if you're reaching into your mortar tube, most likely you're lighting it upside down. And so I was like, sir, were you reaching into the tube to light it at all? And he's like, nah, man, we were lighting them outside the tube and dropping them in.
Yeah, you dropped it off.
Okay. Yeah, let me show you our sales. Yeah. Fucking idiot.
So, Ross is great with walking you through Pyrospot's tent, and I've done it twice already.
It's amazing.
Fun.
Go check it out.
And I'm not long enough on the Dunning-Kruger effect now where I understand most of the shit in the tent. So I can explain most of the stuff to you. I can show you displays. I'm decent at it now.
So, and I talked a little bit about this on ACT on Monday, but I'm going down to Miami, and I was going to we were going to do fireworks in my buddy Joe's backyard, and then he is out of town
why
now.
is everybody like not? Are you the only one that wants the?
I think so.
Are you the only person?
No, they want
friends that celebrate America, dude.
Well, Andres is doing the party, but he
parties.
He lives in a condo, so he's like, we can set the fireworks across the street at this public park. And I was like, I think that's illegal. I don't think you can set off fireworks at a public park. He's like, oh, it's Miami. There's no laws here. Yeah. And then I was like, and that's what everybody said. So I'm going to ask you, Ross, am I going to, be arrested by some Miami cops setting off? You saw what I bought. I bought a shit ton.
I honestly don't know the rules.
Like, can I set them off at a public park on 4th of July?
I mean, you can do whatever you want. It's America, right? Like,
That's what although
I like to hear that.
what does John Adams really want out of you? Is what I would
exactly.
ask. Like,
although I
was
think
that Monticello?
oh no, that was Jefferson.
That was
now,
Jefferson.
Now, the other people I've asked, they said you couldn't get away with it here in Central Florida, but in Miami, the cops are more lenient because they got bigger problems. There's like people on Banshees doing wheelies down the street. There's a chaos going on.
I think it depends on how many people you have there sort of
Santeria.
enjoying it, too. Like, if you have a crowd of people that's sort of into it, and it's not harming anything, it might work to your, it might help.
And if you clean up. I feel like
I'm not just going to leave.
He never cleans up. You know what he does? You know what he does? He lets the race car in his cul-de-sac do donuts and blow the trash into everybody's yard.
No, I'll clean it up. But I'm just like...
You tried to make your sons do it last year. They didn't want to do it. And then you had to do it the one morning, and you were mad. I remember that.
Why did you ask Craig for all his messiest fireworks?
And then I was telling Crystal's like, why are you so worried about this? I'm like, it just doesn't seem like you're allowed to just go to some public park and set off a shit ton of...
What's the worst thing that you think you're going to go to jail?
No, the cops. Well, the cops will show up,
shake you down a little bit.
No, but then all the kids, they may get worried. I don't know.
Get worried.
Well, my kids aren't used to cops like my friends' Miami kids. I don't know.
Well, the Miami friends kids hate the cops. Your kids probably still wear the little hat. They got junior badges.
They salute them when they come by.
They salute him like it's a North Korean general.
All my Miami friends' kids, they're running, scattering, screaming "popos" here.
So you got pretty big stuff. Put your cakes out, one at a time. Just put them out one at a time, light them one at a time, and have like a bucket of water right there.
Yeah.
And then if the cops roll up, just be like, yeah, officer, some guy was lighting these. We came out with water to douse them. Like, we're real civic minded.
And the cops are like, I'm sorry, I don't speak English.
And then they start shaking you down.
And then they take the fireworks, they put them in their trunk. I know Miami.
You're peeling off money.
They're
anyway. Smashing all of your Modelos on the ground.
I'll tell you, everybody, how it goes on Monday's BDM show. Anyway.
Any Gatling guns left? You said maybe a couple?
He keeps finding more.
Right.
I don't know where, but he keeps finding more.
I've been getting a lot of emails from people that are trying to petition to their significant other to get one of those. There you heard it. There's a couple, get there now.
And I was there from 8 to 11 this morning. We just put out a bunch of new stuff. If you've been, there's stuff that you haven't seen yet, and come on by.
SJ in the chat room says, according to Florida law, under a carve-out law on 4th of July, it seems to be legal in a park.
Okay.
Oh, really?
I would just screenshot that. I think you're good to go.
Yeah, 4th of July and New Year's, I know it's pretty wide open as to what you're allowed to do.
Which is why you get the exaggeratory one where, hey, man, if you set your house on fire, they ain't going to do nothing.
And what I know about cops is they love when you tell them what's legal and what's illegal.
Yeah.
I'm going to crack my window just on the inch, and then I yell at them what my rights are. And I'll film it.
Well, if there's one thing I know about cops, is that if everybody's doing something wrong, they will sit in their little air-conditioned cars until it's just one or two people doing wrong, and they can go arrest them. So, as long as you're not doing it at 4 in the morning and you're the last guy.
I've always wanted to do that.
Right. And by the way, from
I'll tell you my plan.
From what I know about Miami, I could on 4th of July pull out my rusty revolver and take a couple shots in the air, and nobody will.
We'll have stories.
And there will be no cops called on me, even if you're discharging a firearm into the air.
We'll have stories. 100%.
So you know how I'm at the tent until 10, and it takes me an hour to get home. So most 4th of July's, I'm shooting my stuff, and my kids are asleep, and I'm out in the street setting off salute crackers by myself, just waking up my neighbors. And my neighbors don't like the loud late at night, so we were kicking around the idea of me getting all my stuff today, coming home, and before I go in at 7 a.m. tomorrow, do an early morning fireworks show.
Your neighbors
like that. Brunch.
No, it'd have to be sunrise, because I gotta leave at 7 to go to
Run Club.
Yeah, it would be a 6 to 6:30 type of situation. And
it's the early morning, early riser tribute to America,
and it is the quote unquote 4th of July, and you're allowed to set off fireworks, right?
I like it.
5:30 in the morning.
I like it. I think it's a great idea.
Sunrise fireworks.
You can test it this year. Just see what happens. It doesn't have a lot of funding. Just test it and then see what happens.
Although, using my own principle that I just described, I will be the one asshole that the cops can come arrest.
Right. Anything else we need to tell everybody about before we
No, I think that's it.
Get on out of here.
If you guys don't mind, check out me and Larry Fulford are going to do Dan's favorite comedy show. What Do You Want From Us? Live the 18th of July at Framework Coffee on North Mills. We did it there a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah,
you came to that one. You and Tony Ray
that show.
and Enos the E-Penis came to it. It was a lot of fun. And we got I forget the lineup, but it is a fucking awesome lineup for this one. I'll get you guys more information.
Those are, if you've never been to one of those, they're interactive. You play a part, super duper fun.
Larry puts together like a list of everybody's jokes, and he kind of like makes questions that mask the nature of the jokes, and you answer the questions, and based on that, you pick which comedian tells which joke next.
Oh, so actually, that microphone stand is for Larry. Because remember?
Yeah.
So if you don't mind.
I will. Thank you.
Please. Yeah,
Thank
I just
you,
don't want to forget. I like to help. I've only got 1,000 of them. If I can get a microphone stand in the hands of every Orlando comedian, I will be very happy.
Oh, we should do
stands for stands. Stands for stands.
Stands. We hope everybody enjoys their 4th of July weekend. Of course, stay as safe as you can.
Oh, yeah, listen to the Tom and Dan All-American Country Review we are doing on ACT.
Yeah, that's only on terrestrial radio.
Only on terrestrial radio.
And we do have a new show on Friday, new ACT show.
Yes.
And, of course, we'll be back on Monday for BDM shows and ACT shows. So, guys, enjoy your weekend.
Be safe. Don't drink and drive. No more drinking and driving, Justin. Don't do that. Everybody else, too. Be safe. It's very easy to not drink and drive.
Yeah.
Fall asleep somewhere.
And we'll see you on Monday.
Oh, wait a minute. I can't publish that. It's mediocre.
I am so fucking tired of doing podcasts. I'm literally done with them. I'm not doing any more podcasts.